Hey there, Chiefs Kingdom. Let's talk about the 2025 NFL Draft, a night full of anticipation, speculation, and, for the Kansas City Chiefs, a surprising twist that left fans buzzing. As the first round unfolded, many expected the Chiefs to focus on bolstering their defense or perhaps adding a dynamic wide receiver. But when it came time for their pick, Kansas City made a bold move by selecting offensive tackle Josh Simmons from Ohio State. This choice caught many off guard. Simmons, while a talented player, had recently suffered a patellar tendon injury, raising questions about his immediate impact and long-term durability. Yet, the Chiefs saw something in him, a potential cornerstone for their offensive line, a protector for Patrick Mahomes, and a player who could grow into a pivotal role. The decision sparked a flurry of reactions. Analysts debated the risks and rewards, fans took to social media to express their surprise, and the sports world watched closely to see how this pick would pan out. But beyond the initial shock, there was a sense of excitement. The Chiefs have a history of making unconventional choices that pay off, and many began to wonder if Simmons could be the next success story in Kansas City's draft legacy. What was your initial reaction to the Chiefs selecting Josh Simmons in the first round? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this deep dive into the Chiefs' draft decisions, consider subscribing to our channel and hitting the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future analyses. All right. Let's take a closer look at the man at the center of the buzz, Josh Simmons. Now, Simmons might not have been the name on every fan's wish list heading into draft night, but there's a lot more to this guy than meets the eye. Coming out of Ohio State, Simmons brought a mix of raw talent and untapped potential that clearly caught the Chiefs' attention. He's 6'6", 315 pounds, and moves with surprising agility for someone his size. That kind of build doesn't come around often. Simmons has a long wingspan, quick feet, and the ability to mirror edge rushers, skills that are crucial when you're protecting someone like Patrick Mahomes. What really stands out, though, is his aggression in the run game. The guy plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's physical, he's nasty in the trenches, and when he locks onto a defender, it's game over. But let's not gloss over the concerns. The big question hanging over Simmons is that recent patellar tendon injury. It's not a minor issue, and rehab for that type of injury can be tricky, especially for offensive linemen who rely on their knee stability for leverage and explosiveness. The Chiefs' medical team must have felt confident in his recovery timeline, or they wouldn't have used a first-round pick on him. Still, it's a gamble, no doubt. There's also his experience to consider. Simmons is relatively young and still refining his technique. He can be a bit undisciplined with his hands, sometimes overextending or getting caught off balance. But those are coachable issues. What you can't teach is size, motor, and attitude, and Simmons brings all three to the table. From a long-term perspective, the Chiefs might be thinking 2 or 3 years ahead. Maybe Simmons doesn't start immediately, maybe they ease him in. But if he hits his stride and stays healthy, he could be a long-term anchor on the offensive line, something Kansas City has needed since the departure of veterans like Orlando Brown Jr. Do you think Josh Simmons can bounce back from his injury and become a long-term starter for the Chiefs? Drop a quick yes or no in the comments, or better yet, tell me why you feel that way. Let's get a real conversation going down there. And hey, if this kind of behind-the-scenes look is your thing, go ahead and subscribe for more breakdowns like this one. We've got plenty more coming your way. Now that we've broken down the Josh Simmons pick, let's zoom out and talk about the bigger picture. Because the Chiefs didn't stop with one bold move. This draft was clearly about building for the future while patching up some immediate needs. After going O-line in the first, Kansas City turned to the defensive side with their second-round pick, selecting Ashton Gillott, an edge rusher out of Louisville. This guy is all gas, no brakes. He's got that explosive first step off the edge that makes offensive tackles panic. Gillott was a menace in college, finishing with 11 sacks his final season and constantly disrupting backfields. Spags is going to love having a guy like this to rotate in and keep the pressure on. Then came Omar Norman Lott, the defensive tackle out of Oregon. He was a third-round pick but plays with first-round intensity. He's stout against the run and can collapse the pocket from the inside. This move shows the Chiefs are serious about controlling the trenches on both sides of the ball. And don't overlook Jalen Royals, the wide receiver from Utah State. This was a savvy day 3 pickup. Royals isn't the tallest guy on the field, but he's a burner with great hands. The Chiefs have always valued speed and separation over size, and Royals fits right into that mold. Don't be surprised if he becomes one of Mahomes' favorite targets in the slot down the road. All these picks, when you line them up, paint a clear picture. The Chiefs are reinforcing their core with young, high-upside players. They're not swinging wildly. They're targeting guys who fit the system, bring toughness, and can contribute sooner rather than later. And let's not forget, this team is still built to contend now. These rookies aren't walking into a rebuild. They're walking into a championship culture. That means better coaching, better development, and higher expectations from day one. Which of these draft picks do you think will have the biggest impact in their rookie season? Simmons, Gillott, Norman Lott, or Royals? Drop your pick in the comments. I want to see who Chiefs Kingdom is betting on. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our breakdowns of rookie minicamp and training camp battles. There's a lot more coming. You knew it was coming. Let's talk about how Chiefs Kingdom reacted to this draft class, because the takes were flying all over the place the moment Josh Simmons' name was called. For some fans, the pick felt like a reach. A few were vocal about wanting a wide receiver or defensive back in the first round, someone with more immediate impact potential. Others questioned Simmons' injury and whether he was even the best tackle left on the board. You could feel the tension on social media with comments like, "Why not go with a safer choice?" or "We needed help at WR Moore." But at the same time, there's a segment of the fan base that trusts Brett Veach and this front office completely, and for good reason. Look at their recent track record. Creed Humphrey, Nick Bolton, Trent McDuffie. These weren't flashy picks, but they've all turned into cornerstone players. So for many, the attitude was, "In Veach, we trust." The Simmons pick especially brought out that split reaction. Some fans saw the upside and bought in immediately. Others? Not so much. But as time passed and more people dug into Simmons' film and his physical traits, the mood started to shift. Hope started to creep in. Optimism, that classic Kansas City confidence. And it wasn't just Simmons drawing attention. Fans were hyped about Gillott bringing edge speed, Norman Lott adding interior muscle, and Royals flashing that deep threat potential. Each pick started to build a little narrative, and that's what the offseason is all about. Hope, projection, and that what-if energy. You've got to love it. Are you feeling optimistic about the Chiefs' 2025 draft class? Just a simple yes or no, but if you've got thoughts, hit the comments and drop your take. I read every one of them. Also, if you're enjoying this breakdown, it really helps when you subscribe. It keeps you in the loop for every Chiefs update, and it lets us know you're part of the community here. All right, Chiefs fan, now that the dust has settled on the draft, it's time to ask the big question. What does all this mean for the season ahead? Let's start with Josh Simmons. Whether he starts right away or spends the first half of the season developing behind the scenes, his role will be critical. If he can get healthy and adapt to the pro game quickly, the Chiefs may have found their long-term answer at left tackle, a position that's been a bit of a revolving door in recent years. And let's be honest, keeping Patrick Mahomes upright is priority number one. Then there's the defense. Adding Ashton Gillott and Omar Norman Lott gives Steve Spagnuolo even more tools to work with in the trenches. With Chris Jones commanding attention inside and Charles Omenihu returning, there's real potential for this group to be dangerous. Gillott might even sneak his way into the rotation on third downs if he shows he can get to the quarterback. On offense, Jalen Royals is a name to keep an eye on. The Chiefs are still searching for that post-Tyreek Hill identity in the receiver room, and Royals has the speed and route running to carve out a role. Even if it's just on special teams or limited snaps early, he's got that sneaky upside you love to see in a day 3 pick. Put it all together and this draft class feels like one designed to support the next phase of the Mahomes era, not just patch holes for this season, but set the foundation for 2026, 2027, and beyond. That's what championship teams do. They reload, they invest in the trenches, and they trust their development process. So here's what I want to know from you. What are your predictions for the Chiefs this season with these new draft additions? Do you see another Super Bowl run in the cards? Or are there still some pieces missing? Drop your thoughts below and let's get hyped together. And hey, if you've been with me through this whole video, thank you. Hit that subscribe button and let's ride through this season together, week by week, win or lose. This is going to be a wild ride.